Do you want to know the very best way to end this year and not just try to get by so that you can have a fresh start? Well, if so, I hope you'll stick around because that's what we're going to be talking about today on this episode of LiveFREE TV. I'm Emilie Quisenberry, if we haven't been introduced before, and I'm a holistic health coach. And I help women, especially women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, be transformed body, soul, and spirit so they live more fully into the women that God created them to be. If this is your first time here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. There will be a button somewhere around the video that you can do that. And that way you won't miss out on any episodes that I release. And I do that about once a week. So what is the best way to end the year so that you're not just trying to push through to get to the end of the year and to start the new year, but to actually celebrate it and make it the very best that it possibly can be? Well, I want to share with you a scripture. It's Isaiah 43, 15 through 17. And this is what it says. It says, I am the Lord, your Holy One, Israel's creator and king. I am the Lord who opens a way through the waters, making a dry path through the sea. I called forth the mighty army of Egypt with all its chariots and horses. I drew them beneath the waves, and they drowned, their lives snuffed out like a smoldering candle wick. Now, why would I share that scripture with you when we're talking about how to end the year in the very best way possible? Well, what this passage, and there's actually more to the passage, and that's going to be part 2 of next week. So I hope that you will come back to hear the rest. But in this passage, God is really reminding the children of Israel about what he had done for them in the past and how he had worked and in them and through them, through the experiences of the Red Sea and their deliverance out of Egypt and ultimately into the Promised Land. And that for me has been a very powerful reminder that in the last days of our year, of our calendar year, where the thing is, I think we love looking forward to the new year because we love the new. We love kind of a do-over, a reset, a beginning again. And I think sometimes we miss the opportunity to really see what God has done in our life, in us and through us over the previous year. So how will this enable you to end your year in the very best way possible? Well, it can allow you to see his hand and him working when you're not right in the thick of the situation. It can allow you to see how he can weave all things together, even seemingly unrelated things together, as he works in you and through you. It also can allow you to see how he can use everything that you've been through for your good, for his glory, and for the good of others. I began 2017 full of hope for the new year. I was looking forward to really stepping fully into a new business related to fitness and really teaching women how to live free and to break free from food, negative body image, and all of those types of things through being a fitness teacher, gospel preacher. In the end of 2016, I had actually gone through a program, Revelation Wellness Instructor Training, and really believed that was the direction God wanted me to go. And so in January of 2017, I spent many days working at my computer and planning and getting things all set up to launch an at-home fitness program in February of 2017. Well, little did I know that in that month, instead of launching that business, I would sink and fall into a deep, dark pit of depression, one that I had never experienced to that level before. And I spent the next part of February and March really recovering from that fall. And it was hard. It was painful. And many, many days it was very, very hopeless. But I continued to trust the Lord as I stepped forward. By April, I really believed that He was, I had a part-time job, and there was an opportunity and a door opened to be able to go on full-time. And so I believe that was a provision that God had for me to be able to step into that. In May, my dad was actually diagnosed with a very aggressive stage 4 lymphoma that really was days away from taking his life by the time we found out what was going on with him. And we spent the rest of May and June and even into July learning how to live day by day and really minute by minute. I was working full time for the first time in 24 years. I was spending, 40 hours a week, 40 to 50 hours a week at work, and then another 20 to 25 hours a week at the hospital. I had never come under that kind of pressure and that kind of intensity before in my life. And those were hard days. But God continued to love me and to walk with me, leading me exactly where He wanted me to go. Now, I'm not going to say I did it perfect, because I sure didn't. But by mid-July, my dad was home from the hospital and beginning to recover. And really, we believed at that time that he was going to make it, which was a far cry from where he had been 6 weeks before. We got to end July going on a cruise in Greece with my daughter for her senior year in high school, and what a gift that was from my sister-in-law for us to be able to do that. In August and September, I really began to wrestle with God about where I was with my job and not feeling like I was where He wanted me to be. I believed it was a provision for us in that season of life, but I didn't believe that's where God had wanted me to be indefinitely. And so in late September, I actually left that job. I had put in my 2 weeks and spent October really praying and seeking the Lord. I had also started BSF, which is Bible Study Fellowship, and we were studying the book of Romans. And God really has used that study to show me a bigger picture of my identity, of His plan for me, of the way He's created me, and the things that drive me, the things that He's gifted me in, the passions that I have. And so it's been a really beautiful journey as I've gone through the fall. In November, I really began to step into this idea of holistic health coach, taking an area of my life that I have a huge interest in. I love health. I love, the talking about, healthy eating and fitness and all of those things. But in a way, it's taken something that has been actually a huge misery in my life, which has been, an eating disorder, disordered eating, bondage to the scale and to the size of my jeans and how I looked, and really allowing people to see that, which can be kind of scary to be that, vulnerable and to be that out there. But I just knew that that's where God was calling me. And so I continued to step into that, not knowing exactly what that was going to look like. But in December, so this is, obviously later December, but I knew God was asking me to begin to form a community of women. I had spent 2016 in a recovery group of women, and you can read more about that in the You're Not Alone blog post. But I had spent that year cultivating really authentic, transparent relationships with other women who were struggling and were looking to become more free from the things that they struggled with. And so I really felt God calling me to develop a similar type group or community of women, but to really be able to utilize technology and to have it web-based so that women from all over could be a part of this community. And so that's when the No Diet Revolution group was formed, and it's brand new. and it's open, it's free, and it's open for you to come and be a part and to really learn along with all of us. We really are freedom fighters in this revolution to ditch the one-size-fits-all diet and really design a way of eating that works for us, to learn how to live body, soul, and spirit more free in this area so that we really do become the women that God created us to be. If you would like to join the group, you can simply go to emiliequisenberry.com/free group, and that will link you over to the Facebook group and you can join. Would love to see you over there. In Romans 1:10 through 12, Paul actually was writing to the Christians that were living in Rome. And this is what he says. One of the things I always pray for is the opportunity, God willing, to come at last to see you. For I long to visit you so that I can bring you some spiritual gift that will help you grow strong in the Lord. When we get together, I want to encourage you in your faith, but I also want to be encouraged by yours. That is the foundation of this group. It's so that we can encourage each other in our faith. We can encourage each other in this journey to becoming more like Jesus in this sanctification process. I do long to bring you, as he says in verse 11, spiritual gifts that will help you grow strong in the Lord. That is my passion and my heart. And I believe God has given me the opportunity and the experience in living in captivity to food and body and comparison and the scale and all of those things. But teaching me how to live free from that so that we can create a community of women that can do the very same thing. I can only imagine what God will do with a group of women who are living free and who are living more fully into who he created them to be, what we will be able to accomplish for his kingdom. So again, if you want to be a part of that group, simply go to emiliequisenberry.com/free group. Now, I would have never guessed that at the beginning of 2017 that I would be here at the end of 2017, right on the cusp of 2018, and looking forward to how God was going to use the greatest misery of my life as the springboard for ministry and business and coaching and helping other women really live out who they were created to be. But that's where I am. But God. And it's only been through looking back over my year of 2017 and seeing how God, in his loving kindness, in his goodness, in his grace, has woven everything together in my life to work in me, to make me more of the woman he wants me to be, and through me to encourage and equip other women to do the same, that I would have never believed he could have done that. But he did, because that's who he is and that's what he does. So today I urge you to pick up the freebie that is available with this episode. And it's simply titled, The Best Way to End the Year. And this is going to help you walk through how you too can take a look at 2017 and see how God has worked in you and through you, and where he could be leading you for 2018. You can pick that up at emiliequisenberry.com/9download. Again, that's emiliequisenberry.com/9download. Click on the big orange button underneath the video on the blog post, fill in your information, and the freebie will be sent directly to your email. You will need to check your spam folder and your promotional folder if you're on Gmail, because it could have landed there, especially if you've never received email from me before. I can't think of a better way to basically wrap up the year to celebrate this season of Jesus's birth than looking back over our previous year and seeing how God has used everything through his loving kindness, through his mercy, through his grace, through his goodness, to mold us more into the women that He created us to be. I really do pray that as you go through the freebie, you will begin to see more clearly what 2 Corinthians 4:17 says. And it says, "For our present troubles are small and won't last very long, yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever." Now, when we're in the thick of things and when we're in the hard time, like when my dad was diagnosed, it sure didn't feel small. It sure didn't feel like it says in another version, a light and momentary trouble. It didn't feel that way. But in the scheme of life and in the scheme of how God works, it really is. And He will use whatever we go through, every single thing. The hard, the good, the challenge, the joy, He will use it all. We have to let Him, though. We have to be a willing partner in that. And that's my prayer for you, is that you can be that willing partner. Pick up the freebie so that you can go through that and really end this year celebrating what God has done in you and through you. And then you can look forward to what He's going to do in the coming year. Please drop a comment below. Give me your thoughts about this episode, maybe questions that you might have. Also, please share this with other women in your life that you think would benefit. And don't forget to pick up the freebie at emiliequisenberry.com/9download. I really do look forward to seeing you in the next episode of LiveFREE TV. Merry Christmas, dear sister. Be blessed.